Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Athabasca University MBA Information Session or Webinar. My name is Farid Nordin. I'm the Manager of Strategic Recruitment at the Faculty of Business. So we thank you for joining us today. Before we get started, I just want to do a brief land acknowledgement. Athabasca University is Canada's online open university and is proud to welcome a diversity of learners from all over Canada. We respectfully acknowledge that we live and work on the traditional lands of the Indigenous peoples of Canada. We honor the ancestry, heritage, and gifts of Indigenous peoples and give thanks to them. As we gather today, Shannon and I are in 36 territory, encompassing 17 First Nations, including the Dene, Suline, Cree, Nakota Sioux, Saulteaux, and Métis people. So with that, I can do a brief introduction for myself. Again, my name is Farid Nordin. I am the Strategic Recruitment Manager for the Faculty of Business. I've been with AU for over 10 years now, primarily in recruitment for the MBA program and also the doctorate program at AU. Joining me today is my colleague, Shannon LaRose, who's an academic advisor for the Faculty of Business. Shannon will walk you through the MBA program structure, the admissions requirements, the application package, in-residence requirements, and options for financing your MBA. So hello, Shannon, and welcome. How are you today?
Good. Thank you, Farid. And thank you for joining us today. I look forward to providing information on our MBA program. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And last but not least, we have a special guest today. Joining us today is Shawn Ang, MBA of 2018. Shawn has had many illustrious careers, from banking to project management to business consulting. Shawn's roles have included to be a strategist, leadership in change management, and transformation. Shawn is here today to share his insights on the AU MBA journey. Welcome to the webinar, Shawn. We are glad that you could join us.
Thanks, Farid. Yeah, very glad to be here to share some of the experience with potential candidates.
Great, thank you. Okay, so Athabasca University is Canada's open university. What that means is that our open policy removes barriers to post-secondary education and to also improve the equality of educational opportunities for adult learners worldwide. This is what makes us unique. AU is a publicly funded university. We report to the Ministry of Advanced Education of Alberta. We are an AACSB accredited university, which means that only 6% of the world's top business schools in the world have this prestigious and important accreditation. Leaning on to the mission of the university, the MBA program, we removed the GMAT or GRE requirements, which is another barrier to entry. So we have removed that requirement. And we also, our flexibility includes the 4 entry routes to the program and also 3 intakes a year, which also reflects the openness and flexibility of the program. The MBA is a journey. The MBA that we offer is a full MBA with 48 credits. You do get less credits if you meet certain entry requirements, but overall it's a 48 credit full MBA. And this is meant for you to unlock opportunities such as networking, career self-advancement, and for your personal and career growth. Okay, so I'm just going to ask Shawn, what did you look for when you were looking for an MBA program?
Oh, that's such a good question. I think when I was looking, definitely, cost was a factor. So we did a couple of surveys with different programs, but also flexibility, right? Like a lot of the courses or the programs that we were looking at had a lot of in-class requirements. So, your bum needs to be on the seat. So, traveling for work back and forth from Calgary at the time, that definitely wasn't a very feasible way of going into a program of having to be there. So I looked for something that was really flexible, that you can do online, you can be engaged online as well. So I think through the program description, as well as attending one of these back in the day, I found that it was actually very flexible, right? You could be anywhere. And to be really honest, like part of the program, when I took it, I was on holidays, right? So it shows that how flexible some of this program actually can entail to help some of these candidates through the program.
Great. Thank you, Shawn. And yeah, here's the 5 main benefits of the program. Like you mentioned, flexibility is our key benefits of the program, meaning that you don't have to be in front of your computer at any given time or date. It is a full program, as I mentioned, so it is you're expected to work in a cohort base in your courses. The global perspective that you get from your peers and your coaches from across industry and across geolocations, because we're online. And also you're part of a highly supported network, meaning that you're not working in a vacuum. And last but not least, you also you can tailor your own MBA journey to how you want it to be. So let's dig in a bit deeper on these topics. So as I mentioned, flexibility is the main key benefit of the program. And as you mentioned, Shawn, you were traveling at that time and you couldn't really do an MBA if you need to be on campus. So that flexibility is great, meaning that we can do this program anywhere, anytime, because of our asynchronous delivery.
Yeah.
Shawn, do you want to add anything else to that flexibility part?
No, and I think it's sort of just an add-on. I think part of the flexibility is also about the engagement, right? Like you can be super flexible, but you want to stay engaged in the program. And I think how the courses are structured really provides that value.
Yeah, for sure. And that brings us to the next point, which is the program is cohort-based and paced. So unlike the other AU programs, primarily in the undergraduate programs, this program is not self-paced. It is paced. So you do have a scheduled start and end date. So each course, each three credit course is 8 weeks, but you can do it minus the commute, right? So you'll be working with other students, and that way too, you actually inherently expanding your networking potential. So Shawn, what was your experience like with this cohort and pace structure of the program?
I think I mean, I think the year 1, year 2, they're pretty much self-paced. I mean, not self-paced, they're already pre-paced for you. Like you have certain things that you need to do to pass anything. And then when you get into year 3, it's more of a self-paced, right? You could determine in terms of how fast or what courses you want to take or what projects you might want to take to complete it. And I went through the course without any breaks, but I seen a lot of my cohort took breaks, right? Life happens. Some had a kid, some changed jobs, and they took breaks and then they came back. So I think that's also one thing that it's really useful and to think about. It's apart from just the classes and where you are flexibility, like how flexible will the course and the program be to allow you to take breaks and then come back at a later time.
Right.
That probably would be another point that I would say it's super useful.
Okay, great, thank you. So the next 3 benefits is one of them is the global perspective. So again, because we're online, we're not limited to having students or coaches, academic coaches in that one specific geolocation. So we're able to attract and retain students and coaches across Canada, even internationally. So what this means is that it just gives you an extra lens on similar business issues, but coming from your cohort, your peers that may be spread out throughout Canada or internationally. So that gives you a bit of a enriching perspective to the MBA program. So you're not just learning about an industry in your geolocation, but you're also learning from across the board. So I think that is a really great benefit of the online program. Shawn, could you share your insights on this gaining global perspectives in the program? Did you think you should
So
perspective?
absolutely. So I think like we're all pretty siloed when we're working in our own personal industry. For example, like I was in banking at that time, and then I moved into a startup. So and then we had cohorts from Toronto and some in the States, and it was really interesting to listen and understand how some of the other candidates in the courses were doing things differently, right? And it's a matter of just understanding perspective, right? And also really learning about how geolocations, political environment, or even things like the culture of the place could
Yeah.
change perspective on how to deal with different or similar issues. So I think that's definitely an eye opener for me to really dig in with some of my peers and understand where they were coming from, given their background.
Mm-hmm. That's great. That's great. That's really a good benefit. Thank you. And you mentioned about in later part in the program that you could do some of your courses use it self-paced. Well, this is where I think we talk about tailoring your own MBA journey. You can make it your own. So Shannon will go through a bit detail in this program structure, but in phase 2, you have the options of doing either the applied project, which is an academic research paper based on issues that you want to help solve plus electives, or you can choose more electives that meets your own objectives, or you are curious about it, right? So you do have that option of doing the electives or the applied project in phase 2. Which route did you choose, Shawn? Did you do the applied project or you did more electives?
I did mostly electives, and I did 2 in-person electives.
Okay, cool. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Last but not least, highly supported environment. We are here for you. Even though you're doing this program online, you're not working in a vacuum. We have dedicated teams from graduate enrollment advisors to help you with your course registrations, withdrawals, tuition payments. We have a dedicated IT help desk team to help you with any issues you may have regarding IT issues, and also that you be part of a network that is really behind you. And currently we have over 4,400 plus MBA alumni. We have an active private LinkedIn group that you'd be part of. Plus, you also be part of a active cohort of about 300 students right now. So yeah, so that given the perspective of that, is you're not by yourself, right? You're part of a larger group that's always there for you. Shawn, do you have anything to add to that highly supported environment that you went through?
No, I think it's a great environment, especially a lot of the alumni are more than willing to help partake and support any of the current potential student or even students in terms of the experience, in terms of how they manage the schedules, how do they even get started. I think a lot of them are very well versed in terms of sharing the experience and helping people through their own journey, right?
Mm-hmm. Great. Thank you. Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
No, welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. No, okay. Okay. So I'm just gonna move to the next slide here. How does the MBA program work for you? So as I mentioned, the program is asynchronous, meaning that you're never required to be online at any particular time or date. Each course is paced. You do have a schedule, start and end dates, and assignment deadlines within your schedule. And we do recommend students do this program one course at a time, given that the fact that you have to invest anywhere between 20 to 25 hours a week, 5 to 6 days a week. So we do recommend you do one course at a time so that you can really benefit from the discussions and from the learning, and sharing of information that you'll get from your cohort and from your coaches. This program is accessible 24 hours, 7 days a week. As long as you have internet connection, you'll be able to access your work anywhere, anytime. So I mentioned time commitment, on average 20 to 25 hours a week. There's almost a daily engagement on the online discussions. Contribution is 5 to 6 days a week. We do recommend to take at least one day off to enjoy some things that you used to do and forget about school. But otherwise, yeah, 5 to 6 days a week is what is required to be successful. Cramming on weekends will not work, again, because this is a full MBA program. So we don't recommend at all cramming on weekends. It takes about 2.5 to 3 years to complete the program. Those who are accepted in the accelerated or through one of our partnerships, routes of entry, will finish the program a bit sooner. Yeah, so like I said, yeah, 3 credit courses, 8 weeks. You do have 1 to 2 week break between courses. And we also offer a 6 credit, 10-week electives, which can also shorten the time of completion for you. Shawn, could you share some of the insights on your time management and what worked for you when you were in the program? I know you have a full-time job. I believe you had a new family at that time. What was a typical week like when you did the program?
I think it's easier to sort of break it apart to which sort of the years. So like I think the initial stage is always probably the most difficult, right? Because right at year 1, you will be looking at creating new habits, right? You know, and from what you talked about, like, you know, online discussions, you are expected to contribute, you know, you know, maybe an hour or 2 per day, and obviously you have a ton of reading. So I think it's around that. It's about creating new habits, creating new behaviors of, you know, you need to be working through the program on a regular basis. I think once you pass the first year, it becomes a lot easier to adopt those behaviors. I didn't struggle a lot in year 2 or 3. Other than year 3, I actually had my kid in year 3. That was the struggles because of late nights. You know, you can't really get much sleep and trying to do your work all at the same time. But I think the critical piece for me was really about year 1, about creating the habits, creating the schedule, and then really trying to get your family to support you in this journey. And I can't stress enough that, you know, the family part is super critical. You know, they need to help take on something from your plate
Yeah.
within the house so that you actually can carve out time to do this work.
Yeah. Yeah, that's important. Yeah, we've heard from many other alumni too, Shawn, where the family unit do help in the success of you know, your MBA journey because of that time commitment that is required for in the program. So that 2.5 to 3 years is when you kind of really prioritize on what you need to do, and I think that's always a great it isn't like you said, it is an adjustment, because you kind of need to learn, like you said, learn on how to do things and how to manage your time better. So I think if anything, at the end of the day, I mean, at the MBA program, what teaches you is just to be more effective with your time as well, right? So that is another key takeaway there. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Great. Okay, moving along now. So in terms of how the program works, it is how you think through and respond to each questions posed by other students or your academic coaches, how you help others understand your point of view by sharing insights and your examples from your own managerial experiences, and how you demonstrate as a senior leader or manager. And up to 40% of your grade will be based on your group participation. So this program, you know, you cannot just sit back and let and not participate. So you do have to be an active participant in these courses. Okay, Shawn, do you have anything to add to the last to this slide about?
No, I think, yeah, I think you firmed on it really well. I mean, the critical pieces is really around the discussion that you have with your peers and your cohort. As you know, that's where you share the knowledge, as well as the same time you gain some knowledge from sharing.
Right. Great, thank you. One slide here I just want to bring up quickly about accreditation, why it matters. So we've had a lot of you know, inquiries and people asking about the programs, but we always say that, you know, you have to make sure that the program that you're in or the university that you're in is fully accredited. What that means is that it is recognized by a public entity such as the government or the Ministry of Advanced Education. That's important because it is a stamp of approval to say that the program that you're, you know, expanding, that you're spending lots of money and time for is really recognized. So for example, at AU, we are accredited by the Government of Alberta. We are part of the Campus of Alberta Quality Council, and we are part of the Comprehensive Academic and Research University, so CARU, and there's only 4 of that in Alberta. The reason why it's important, because for future academic journey, we don't know what the future holds, right? So if you're looking to do a DBA or PhD program in the future, you do want to make sure that your MBA especially is recognized, so that you can use that MBA to further your academic journey. Also, student aid eligibility, depending on the program, sometimes student aid, because it's being dealt by the provincial government, if the program is not recognized, you may not be eligible for student aid. Also, employer recognition is also key to make sure that you have the proper, you're in a proper accredited program. And as I mentioned, we are part of the Association to Advance Collegiate Schools of Business, or AACSB, whereby there's an international stamp of approval for MBA and business programs around the world. So this is just something we just want to keep in mind should you be looking at MBA programs out there. All right. So I'm just going to turn to Shannon. I believe this is your slide about the program structure. So over to you, Shannon.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the program structure for the MBA program. The MBA program consists of 2 phases. You have the option of either doing the applied project route or the course-based route to complete the program. And as Fried mentioned earlier, each course is 8 weeks in length, and it's designed to take 1 course at a time. And there's about a 2-week break in between each course. So phase 1 begins with a week-long orientation, and this just helps students familiarize themselves with the learning platform. You learn how to access the library resources, participate in a discussion, submit an assignment. You learn about the academic conduct and much, much more. So it just gets everybody on the same page before you start your first course, which would be the following week. So there are 6 foundational courses in phase 1 that build upon each other, and it's capped off with a week-long comprehensive exam. And the comprehensive exam is a case-based, and students are evaluated for their applied learning of the phase 1 courses that they've completed. So this is the only exam that you take in the MBA program. So I do want to turn to Shawn and just maybe just chat with you about your experience with the comprehensive exam, and how did you prepare for it, and did you take some time off work to do it, and just share what your experience was.
Yeah, definitely. So definitely, I would say the exam is something that we will need to prepare. However, I think on that token is throughout the year of going through all 6 courses, you are preparing for the exam, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because most of the courses, even though they're individualized in terms of that specific topic, you're still trying to systematically link, for example, between like strategic management with your operation management, and financial management with HR, and so on and so forth. So they're all interlinked throughout the different courses. And I think that, well, if you pay attention to your courses, you are somewhat prepared for it. I think because you're writing on the case in terms of how the case relates to any of these subjects. As you progress through the program in year 1, you would have gained substantial understanding in this very specific topics that they're testing you on. Yeah.
And so along the way, you're kind of keeping those key learnings for each course to refer back.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's super important that you're aware of what are the key things in each of each week that you're trying to learn and trying to understand.
Yeah. And so the exam itself, you're given 6 days to complete it, and they're essay style questions. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, they are. So, you're pretty much writing a paper on each of the subjects, right? So, and if I'm not wrong, you're actually being marked on only 5 of them, versus all 6, right? So,
Right.
I did take a week off from work, from the distractions to like clearly work through each of the subjects and each of the areas that's being tested on.
Yeah, yeah, and I've heard that similar from other alumni, just saying that they've taken a few days off just to focus on the exam and do a good job of that. So, thank you. I appreciate that. Sometimes people are a little intimidated, and it's just good to kind of explain how the comprehensive exam works. So, thanks, Shawn, for that.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
All right. And so once you successfully complete phase 1 courses and the comprehensive exam, this marks the halfway point of the MBA program, and you were awarded the graduate diploma in management credential, which is a significant achievement in itself. So then you start phase 2. So phase 2 consists of 4 additional core courses. And then at this point, if you choose the applied project route, you would complete 3 electives plus the applied project. And the applied project is a 15,000 word academic research paper. And this is completed over a 5-month period of time. And it typically involves exploring a managerial topic or an issue or perhaps a problem in your organization or in your industry that you want to explore. So we match you up with an academic expert in that area, and they will guide you through that whole process of the applied project. And then if you choose to do the course-based route, then you would complete 6 elective courses instead. So you do the 4 core courses in phase 2 and then 6 courses electives instead. And this option allows you to tailor your own MBA or design your own MBA by taking the electives that are of interest to you. And we have a long, complete list of the electives on our website. So I heard you tell Fareed earlier, Shawn, that you chose the course-based route to do the program. Is that right?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah, yeah. And so, did you think about the applied project, or did you just how did you decide which route you wanted to take?
Well, I think primarily I took that route because I started a new family. So
Yeah,
personally for me, I wanted to just stick with a schedule that I was used to,
yeah,
um, rather than having, go working throughout the project. So I took the course-based route very specifically just because of how my situation was, right? And I know a lot of my peers was actually taking the project route, and they found it super enriching and in dealing with one of the problems that they brought from work in
yeah,
terms of their electives. Yeah.
yeah. So it's nice to have the option, and also you don't have to decide when you start the program. You just have to kind of figure that out before the end of phase 1 so that you can kind of start planning your schedule, right? So, and so I think. Yeah, I'll talk to you a little bit more about the electives in a second. So the next slide, Fareed, does talk about, hang on a second. Yeah, that talks about the in-residence requirements. So in our program, at least one elective course must be taken in residence. And typically the in-residence week is held during the 5th week of the elective. And it's for 5 business days, so from a Monday to a Friday. And this is held in a hotel setting in a major Canadian city. So as a result of the past COVID pandemic, we now offer blended synchronous in-residence and in-person options. So the delivery format will vary depending on the elective courses. So I think you can see on this slide, we have, I think this is the 2025 schedule. So we have some in-person options, one in Edmonton, and then there's one that's actually a virtual option. So you just have to keep in mind for either option, students are required to attend the sessions and activities as indicated on the elective course schedule. So there could be times where you might have to be online at a certain time if you're taking the virtual option. Students are given plenty of time to plan for the electives that they're interested in, and our portfolio of electives is continuously evolving as we want to provide students with relevant and up-to-date content. So I want to turn back to Shawn, and I heard you say that did you take all 3 in-person electives? Is that what you chose to do, or?
I took 2. I took 2 in-person electives, yeah.
Okay, do you remember which ones they were, or?
Oh,
I know
that's a while back. I think one was in Toronto with something to do with the board membership, and then I took one in Greece, I think.
Okay. And so you did an international, okay.
I
Awesome.
did, yeah.
And so the in-person experience was really valuable?
I would agree 100%. It's super busy though, like you were in residence, you have your classroom work at the same time and you have your in-resident work all happening at the same time. But again, it's really around how you prioritize your work during that time, and it's only 1 week, right? But I think that the value of in-person, it's, you now can put a face to a name. That's number one. But the other one, it's really, you get to meet other industry leaders that you're trying sometimes to help solve a problem as a group.
Yes. And the in-person electives, that's a good reminder. Depending on the elective, there could be guest speakers or offsite visits, so So again, students have lots of time to plan for it and have a look at the different electives that we offer. So yeah. Oh, thank you very much, Shawn, for that. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. And all right, so now we'll talk about the admission requirements for the MBA program. So there's a couple of different options for entry. So the first one would be if you have an undergraduate degree from an accredited post-secondary institution, along with at least 3 years of management experience. The second is if you come to us with an accepted professional designation, along with at least 5 years of management experience. And the designations, we have a list of about 22 of them on our website, so I'd encourage you to have a look at those. And then the third way would be if you come to us just based on your management experience alone. So if you can demonstrate that you have a minimum of 8 years of progressive management experience, that would be another way to enter the program. And we do not require a GMAT to apply to the program. All right. Then we also have, just waiting for my slide. All right, we also offer the accelerated route of entry. So this would be for any folks that have an undergraduate business degree. So there are very specific admission requirements for this route of entry. So again, an undergraduate business degree completed within the last 10 years. You also have to have a grade point average of 3.0 or higher for the last 60 credits taken, along with at least 3 years of management experience. And this is a 30 credit program, and it can be completed approximately within 19 months. But again, the admission requirements are very specific. So if you think that you might qualify, I would encourage you to visit those frequently asked questions on our website. It has some really good detailed information. And I just forgot to mention, the management experience can include managing either people, managing projects, or managing budgets, or a combination of any of those. So I just wanted to mention that. All right. All right, so the application package, I'm just going to speak about what's required for that. So we do require a comprehensive resume outlining your management experience. There's also a 1,000-word essay where you're responding to 4 questions. We also require 3 letters of reference. So you can submit 3 business reference letters or 1 academic and 2 business reference letters, so whichever you prefer. If you're applying with an undergraduate degree, we require the official transcripts from your university, or if you're applying with a professional designation, we would require a letter of good standing from that organization. There's also an online application form and the non-refundable application fees. And we offer 3 intakes every year. So January, May, and August are the 3 different opportunities to start the program. Our next intake is January, with our deadline coming up on October the 15th.
Okay, thank you, Shannon.
You're welcome. I'll turn it over back to you, Fareed. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so you've listened to a lot of information about the program, admission requirements, the benefits of the program. And another big question that we always get is how to finance a program. So just going to give you a quick highlight here. So this program is fully recognized by the government of Alberta. Therefore, if you in your province have the Canada Job Grant, you can apply for that and have your employer subsidize your program. I believe it's about $10,000 a year, a calendar year, but each province is different. So I would highly encourage for you to inquire with the organization about the Canada Job Grant. Another way that students would fund their program is through self-financing. You can take out a lifelong learning plan from your RSP or low interest student lines of credit to help you with your tuition. Personally, that's how I did my MBA, is through self-financing. Employee sponsorship, we do have really great talking points on our website. So if you click on any of the links you see in blue, pardon me, you'll be able to get more information on that topic. We do also have scholarships and awards and bursaries that are open to students once they're in the program. But keep in mind, those scholarships and awards will not fully pay your tuition. So just keep that in mind, but you can apply it to as many scholarships as you possibly can. We also have a great information on graduate funding on our website. So if you click on the graduate funding link on the screen, you'll be able to get more information as well. Okay, so as a way to just wrapping up our presentation today, I just want to also just give you some idea about what being an AU MBA student is. So just to wrap up, 20 to 25 hours a week on average is your time commitment. The flexibility of the program, we offer 3 intakes a year, flexibility in tuition payments, asynchronous learning format, and breaks between courses. The peer-to-peer learning is also very important, where you can learn and challenge your peers in each course, and you'll be interacting with different peers in each course as well. So therefore, you're making more connection and more networking potential. And you can also tailor your MBA, as Shannon mentioned, in detail in phase 2 of the program. And again, you can find out more information about being an AU MBA student on our website. So in terms of partnerships, we do have partnerships with the Canadian College of Health Leaders. So what that means is that once you complete your MBA program with us, you can transfer some of the MBA credits into their Certified Health Executive CHE designation program that is offered by Canadian College of Health Leaders. If you happen to have the CPA designation in good standing or the Supply Chain Management Professional designation SCMP in good standing, you can earn transfer credits in the MBA program, meaning that you can save about $10,000 or 9 credits from the MBA program should you have those 2 designations in good standing. So if you need more information, feel free to reach out to Shannon and I, and we can give you more information as well. In terms of services at AU, we do offer support services such as the accessibility services. So if you need accessibility services, just let us know right at the beginning so that we can accommodate to your needs. We also have a mental health and wellness program, financial aid and awards, and learning support as you go through the program and a student at AU. So the application deadline is October 15th for the winter January 2025 cohort. So if you have any questions, feel free to send us an email at business-support@athabascau.ca. So business-support@athabascau.ca. Even though we say October 15th is the deadline, we do require that all of your application package to be submitted by October 15th or a few weeks after. So October 15th is a soft deadline, so but we do require everything to be in by the end of the month. So if you are really keen on starting in January, let us know by sending us an email, and we can work with you. So with that comes the end of our presentation. Shawn or Shannon, do you have anything else to add before we wrap up today?
I'd probably just add this is like I think to start is really difficult, right?
Yeah.
Anything difficult is definitely worth doing. And I can definitely appreciate the journey. It's very fulfilling, and definitely, you know, it's a when you do graduate, it's a very important and celebratory moment for both you and your loved ones around you that supported you through this journey. So I would highly recommend, you know, anybody to think about starting to actually do start.
Great, thank you, Shawn. That's a really nice, a great word of encouragement. You know, right? That means, yeah, you got to start somewhere, and you know, we also heard is there's never a perfect time, so you just have to kind of, you know, dive in and then just go through the journey for sure. Shannon, do you have anything else to add before we wrap up?
I wanted to thank Shawn for joining us today for sure. Just really enjoyed your insights and sharing your experience in the MBA program. And just, you know, if you think of any questions after this webinar, please reach out to Fareed and I. We're here to help and answer any questions that you have. Thanks again for joining us today.
Great. Thank you, Shawn. Thank you, Shannon. We appreciate your time. So yeah, everybody have a great day. Stay warm and stay safe, and we hope to see your application in very soon, or at least an email from you. Okay,
thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Have a good one, guys.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.